are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced and get happy with Dr. Marissa. And this show is about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have shows and topics.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Monday, Tuesday,
Happy days.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Happy days.
Friday, whatever.
Happy days.
What a day. Na, 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 na.
I love you.
I love you too.
Best known as the mom from Happy Days, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me.
Oh.
My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Which is exactly the kind of guest that I like. Those who have gone through life, good and bad, and then taken those experiences to alchemize them into the person they are now and doing good on the planet. I'd like you to welcome Corey Feldman.
If you're grateful for it and you say right away, thank you, God. Oh, my God, that's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then guess what? More good things will come to you.
Does this sound familiar at all? She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else. Right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I understood what was going to happen if Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
You are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so I can come over.
Come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Spreaker, Streaker, you name it. I'm there. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip on this show, no scandal, and no K words, no Kanye talk at all, formerly or now, because I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end, whether it's to expand your mind, expand your understanding of the world. This week we had my first counterintelligence spy on, Pete Turner, who was amazing with my new understanding of foreign policy. And he was right up my peace alley with talking about how we enter countries without understanding their culture. So if you missed that, just free subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can not only listen, but watch my guests. And as of today, we are, let's see, I finished, this is podcast number 1125 or 26, I believe. So I am just delighted that it's 25 that we're here. And I also have special series. Today is Thursday, which means it's straight talk. But instead of James Hawthorn, my regular co-host, I am so delighted to bring into my studio for the first time a man that I met, haven't figured out when that was. He brought me to Carnegie Hall in New York with my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith. He contacted me out of the blue, and I'm happy to say that we've been friends now for at least, I want to say, 8 years. So please welcome to my studio. His name is PJ Tomas. Hold on, where's my applause?
I'm sorry, I didn't put PJ Tomas on there.
You asked me to say PJ Tomas, and then you don't put it on there.
I didn't put
but I'm so glad that you're here. And I can say our cashew gallery is just packed with your fans. We've got, let's see, Maria, of course, who also subs sometimes for Alon on my Tempting Conversations Friday special series. We've got Sci-Fi Mombi. Hello. We've got, hold on. We've got Last Call with Troy Pacelli, who's been also a guest co-host for this particular series. Thought I saw another name there. Yep, Digital Outlaw. Yes. And who else? I think that's it for now, but I'm sure more of your fans will be coming into studio.
Well, these are your fans. These people come in here every once in a while to see you.
Thank you, because of you.
Can I say something now that I'm finally here? And by the way, it's such an honor because this is like the last time you and I have had breakfast together has been a long time ago. So it's a pleasure to be here, Marissa.
Thank you. And that's where we'll start. Let's have breakfast together. This is a good life habit or a hashtag Blissipline that I started last year. And it's been going well. It's a chance for you to drink a little of my Kool-Aid or know how I stay positive, which is to start every day
with gratitude and then end every day with appreciation. So I have my guest or co-host help me, and sometimes in the back studio, my sound engineer Frank will actually chime in, and Maria knows how to do this as well as Troy, to put in gratitudes in the chat and help us with 8 specific things that we are grateful for outside of ourselves. And then we go to the bottom of the bun, because I like it on the bottom, with 8 things that we like about ourselves. So here we go. I am grateful to finally get PJ into the studio. This is probably at least a dozen times inviting him, but he is in Europe, and I have to be very super grateful that what time is it there now?
Well, I don't mean to correct you, but I'm actually in orbit on the spaceship right now.
I'm sorry.
Officially.
Well, you texted me from Europe, so
From Europe,
that was
yes.
before
And
you went into.
I'm over Spain right now.
Yes. Okay. What time is it there?
It's what, like 5:10.
5 a.m. Okay.
PM.
Cool. Then we're going to go to Troy. I'm thankful that I get to see PJ. He doesn't get to see you enough.
Yeah.
Aw, I'm grateful for Sci-Fi Mombi because he says he's a fan of mine too. Thank you.
Sci-Fi Mombi is a great new channel.
Yay. I'm grateful for Frank, my sound engineer, who, I don't know if you can see the peace sign. He got me a neon peace
We
sign.
love Frank. We do love Frank. Everybody in the chat loves Frank.
Yay. And he does a great job supporting me in this show. What else are you grateful for?
I'm grateful. I'm very grateful to actually, even though this is a virtual meeting, I'm glad we're 2 friends who haven't talked in a while, and then we started talking again, and we haven't, even if it's a virtual meeting, I'm glad to be here with you.
I am grateful that I get to meet super fabulous people in my walk and run and sometimes sprint through life. And it's really, I just love my life. I mean, every day something cool happens, partially because I just know it's going to happen. And we got a finger somewhere along there, not that finger, but this finger, which we always love your reaction. So thank you for that. Let's see, Maria, do you have a gratitude? And PJ, gratitude?
I am very grateful to be here. And I am very grateful I'm going to take this opportunity because I'm here live with you. I am very grateful for all of Marissa's listeners, whether you're at home making coffee, whether you're in the car, whether you're at the office, wherever you are. I am grateful that you are going to take the time to go find her YouTube channel and join us in the chat on the YouTube channel. And that if you can not just listen to Marissa, but you can interact with her in the chat. So give her channel a check out on YouTube.
Thank you. He's my unofficial, unpaid #1 marketing
I'm her
PR guy. All right, Maria did respond because she's just like that. I'm grateful for warmth in this knee-deep snow day. That's why I left Canada, but I'm sure it's beautiful over there. I am grateful that I get to live. I'm looking at water. It's beautiful and it's sunny and I'm solar powered. So I'm super grateful for that. All right. That's the top of the bun. Let's go to the bottom of the bun. The reason why is a lot of us now are okay, I get it. Mental health is important. And yay, we are more willing and able to speak freely about our mental health. Largely due to my honorable moniker, Oprah, and how she, didn't go the Jerry Springer route, but actually picked topics and guests to expand our ability to talk about spirituality, about mental health, and all of that good stuff. However, it has come to my attention that a lot of people are reaching for solutions outside of themselves to feel better. And so I really want you to exercise your ability to like yourself. Because frankly, my dear, if you don't like yourself, how the fork do you expect anybody else to? So this part of the bun, I want you to do before you go to bed, instead of thinking about who done me wrong, what I didn't do, how could I have done that, what was done to me. I want you to fall asleep thinking about things that you like about and approve and care about yourself. So for some people, that's not easy for a lot of people because I know culturally too, you grow up, you're not supposed to talk, toot your own horn, or in Chinese and Japanese, there's a saying, when the nail that stands up is hammered down. So this is an anti normal habit of not thinking well of yourself. So what do you like and appreciate about yourself? Troy usually has a good one on this one, so I'll let him get in the chat on that. I appreciate my ability to continue to improve. I used to be afraid of admitting that I didn't know something, and now it's like I love learning new things. So I appreciate my ability to grow and expand. What about, oh, yay, Adega is I like being able to help people as a doctor. Beautiful. Is he an MD? Are you an MD? Is he?
He's a
Are you an
chiropractor
MD?
doctor,
Oh, a chiropractor doctor.
but
Yes.
he is very very well balanced, very holistic too, and he's great. He helps a lot of people. Dr. Adega helps a lot of people, and
Awesome.
he's a science fiction author, a kind of
Ah,
accomplished science fiction author.
fantastic. Yeah, I used to have a little resentment though. It took me 4 years to get that title, and it only takes chiropractors 2 years. So just saying. All right. What do you appreciate about yourself, PJ?
I'm grateful that I have a passion for helping people and for being pathologically optimistic.
Oh, I like that. Pathologically
And
optimistic.
you just reminded me, by the way, I don't mean to go off course here, but you reminded me of something that Dr. Reverend Beckwith talks about, that our environment is a reflection of who we are. So who you are, who you are out there is important, to what you receive in life on a day-to-day basis. It's important to work on yourself. We all have to work on ourselves.
Yes. I appreciate my ability to laugh often and much, which is Emerson's definition of success. Laughter is my favorite sound in life.
Doctor, I'm just giving you the inside scoop here. Dr. Marissa's a lot of fun to be around. She's definitely a bundle of laughs.
All right, I got corrected here. I'm glad to hear that, because I was told that it only takes 2 years. So I will stop saying that. I have a PhD, which just stands for piled higher and deeper, but it takes quite a few years. But if you are told, if you're a person like me where you'll never get it done in 4 years, you can't get your dissertation done in a year, it's impossible. That's all I need, and then I finish. So that's
it's a little longer than
yeah.
that,
Maria, I appreciate that I am blossoming and coming into life at my age. I found the spark that ignited my flame. Ooh, is that a new spark, like relationship spark, or is that an internal spark? Inquiring minds want to know. All right, let's see. Where are we now? One more appreciation. PJ.
Of others or of myself?
Of yourself.
Of myself. I appreciate the fact that I'm oh, okay. I appreciate the fact that I like to I'm a good connector of people. I enjoy connecting people.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Oh, we have someone new in the house who I know. Netter is in the house. Welcome. Netter is the 31-year partner of, I almost said Orville Nation of Troy
Troy
Pacelli.
Pacelli.
I'm getting,
You're getting in trouble with Troy, Marissa.
I have a great memory. I just have really bad recall. So that is my newest excuse. But welcome to Netter. Okay, that is it for breakfast. Thank you for joining us today. I hope that you continue this hashtag Blisscipline or good life habit. If you do for the next 28 days, I promise you that you will sandwich your day in the most positive way, which is my life song. Thanks for joining us. All righty. Now, topic for the day was picked by my guest co-host today. Before we do that, those of you who are listening who don't know PJ, I would like him to introduce himself using my favorite intro, which is I do not have an answering machine. I have a questioning machine. And when you call me, it says, "Who are you and what do you want?" PJ Tomas, who are you and what do you want?
All right. I was thinking about the George. I believe it at home. Believe I'm not home. It's George from Seinfeld. That song. Anyway, it just popped into my head. So who am I? I am.
By the way, since you brought him up, I got contacted by his people, and he's holding. Yeah, like literally 3 days ago, and I love social media for that. They messaged me on Instagram and said, would you George Costanza is having a poker fundraiser, and would you be interested in promoting that? And I said, I'm happy to have him on the show. And then they sent me a poster of all these people, and so we went back and forth that morning, and it turned out that they're actually full now, so they kind of don't even want to do that. But it was nice. I now know that George Costanza knows who I am, although I did meet him briefly because his mentor is William Shatner. And I shared a stage with William Shatner speaking for Wells Fargo many years ago. And then I saw him again at the Newport Beach Film Festival, and he said he remembered me. I think he was just being nice.
You're unforgettable, Marissa.
Oh, stop. But I just thought that I had to slide that in.
Jason is a member of this crew. He's a member of the Orville crew.
I
Jason
didn't know that.
Plays an alien. He has played an alien who is the bartender on the Orville. So
I didn't know that. All right. All right. So go on.
So I'm a personal development person in the psychology background, and I've been in personal development for a long time, and that's where Marissa and I met in 2015, beginning in 2016, and I spent a lot of years working in the Bob Proctor organization, rest in peace, Bob. He passed a few years ago. And one of the things I do right now is I'm focused on building communities, and right now we are focused on several communities. Right now, the Orville Nation community, which is kind of based on the Seth MacFarlane's work of the Orville and Ted from Peacock and Family Guy and all the other stuff that Seth MacFarlane does. And we're big fans of Seth. And the other project we're working on is the Inspiration TV project, which is going to be kind of like a hybrid of Discovery, Mind Valley, and Gaia. So we're starting that now too.
Who are you doing that with? That's right up my alley.
Well, me, myself, and I, and a few helpers, and we have a small team, but it's kind of mostly me. But we're be happy to. We're looking for collaborators, and we're happy to promote Dr. Marissa Pay content as well.
Yeah, that would be awesome, because I think that is there's a need right now because people are really saying, okay, we don't want the regular stuff. We really want
Yeah.
inspirational content. So that's
It's
awesome.
it's actually it's kind of remarkable how well something like Gaia TV is doing. They're doing very well.
Exactly. And I missed this appreciation. I just want to put that up there. He survived surgery 17 years ago. And then this is so cute. Love of my life. And I love you too. All right. There's some sugar going on in the cashew
Hey,
gallon.
you guys forgot to call each other Schmoopy.
All right. Yeah, insider stuff for sure. All right. I am ready now for the topic that you picked, and I want to know why you picked it, and then I'll tell you why it's the perfect topic.
Please excuse me. By the way, I'm going through a bad allergy cough. So I try to mute myself. I hope I muted myself. So why did I pick it? Because I figured that our backgrounds are very different, and I think that both of us have dated outside of our, not just ethnicity, but
our flavor,
right? We're all part of the greater culture, but our more specific culture, right? So I thought it might be an interesting idea, and everybody's from we're a melting pot, so I think it's a interesting topic.
Cool. And that topic is relationships and dating outside of your culture or outside of your heritage. So if you have any questions or thoughts around that, please do put them in the chat. I obviously jumped on the topic because after 7 years of being happily divorced and single, I have just literally since January entered the dating rat race. I mean, the dating pool. I have jumped in or stuck my foot in at least to the dating game. Yeah,
Shall we say you're just dipping your toe in the water? Maybe.
No, I think I did more than the toe, but we're not.
There you go.
There were other body parts that have been dipped in, but I divulged too much. But the interesting thing for me is the 7-year itch. I'm calling it the reverse 7-year itch. For millennials, you probably don't know what that term means. In the past, even though I'm #ageless, 7-year itch is, you're married 7 years and then you get an itch and then you start to maybe think or are tempted to behave badly outside of monogamy. So I took that term and reversed it. So I was single and not dating for 7 years. So now I'm doing the reverse 7-year itch. So that explains that, because I love playing with words, and y'all know that if you've been listening to me for a while. So let's start with have you dated outside of your flavor?
I have. It was a while ago, and I have, and I mean, I always wanted to kind of. I was very attracted to my flavor, which is kind of Iberian Peninsula origins, right? But yeah, I've definitely dated outside.
Iberian
Peninsula, Spain.
Spain. I didn't know that was your heritage, actually, because you look like sorry for the term, but I don't mean it disrespectfully. Usually we don't say Caucasian. We have been, but white, right? You look like a white guy. And go ahead.
No, people in Spain are that is kind of a misconception sometimes in the States. People in Spain are very white. I mean, there are some people who are a little tanner, let's say, but yeah, I'm very pale, to be honest.
Okay. And so what was the race that you dated? Yeah.
Well, I guess, I mean, let's see. I think you could probably cover the whole planet.
Okay.
So a little Asian, Filipino. Let's see. Um, a little Chinese, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Jewish American, Middle Eastern. I don't know, but not
So
for,
you've
for
had
a long period
you've
of
had
time.
the combo plate
Combo plate,
combination.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing too serious, right? But
Okay, but you've dated, and I'll just say that I think it's wonderful when people suspend any of the stereotypes that are out there about different flavors and are curious and open. I think this new generation is way better at doing that than we were, or the generation before us were. So kudos to the younger generation for doing that. The melting pot, by the way, that you mentioned earlier, unfortunately is becoming a little bit of a boiling pot lately, because we're just not doing well with the ability to agree to disagree, and the stereotyping and the negative stereotyping. I think stereotyping, by the way, I'll just do this as a diversity consultant. One of the things that gets in our way is that this whole area of valuing diversity is not black and white. Literally, it is gray. And a lot of people, especially the American culture, it is an investigated group difference. I'm a researcher in Hofstede studies, where they look at how countries differ, and how heritage differ with respect to culturally group difference. And so we have one extreme where people don't like to talk about the differences. We're all the same. We're humankind. We all bleed. We all breathe. And that is true. But to absolutely just nullify people's differences is not helpful. On the other extreme, it is also not helpful to identify people just through that difference. And that I'll give an example is, one of the things you do not want to do on a date with me is sit down and say, I've always been attracted to Asian women. And I will say, if I stay, I will not clean for you. I will not cook for you. And the only way I'm going to walk on your back is with high heels on. And it ain't going to be pretty. So that is an example of someone who is basically taking me. The intent is a compliment. I get it. It's a compliment. But the impact is not, because he just took me complex group differences, individual differences. In some ways, of course, I look Asian. I have some things that resemble that cultural difference. And then many ways I do not. So he is just sort of squeezing me into an identity that only hits maybe 20% of me. So I think that both extremes of dealing with differences in culture is not helpful. So the balance is, where are we the same? Where are we different? And can we value that difference? So stereotyping is based on a group difference. I define it as, there's group differences, but when you make a negative inference about that group difference, that's when you get in trouble. That's when it is not respectful. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I understand I understand your concerns in that situation. Um, I think that I think I mean, yeah, there's a lot of suppositions that are made, right? Because if it's not your culture, then you don't understand it 100%. So it's would you say could you say that being Chinese American is not the same thing as being first generation Chinese?
Oh, for sure.
Is
And
that
when I
another
was,
way of explaining the difference?
oh yeah, I mean, when I was in Australia, I had a great dinner with the former aide to the prime minister's colleague, and we were at a Chinese restaurant, and the three of us are Asian, and we were talking about the struggle of Chinese Australians in living with first generation Chinese parents and then having, moving and grooving in the world where they don't speak Chinese, they don't identify, yet they're trapped in the BS belief systems or the pressure from Tiger Mom, so to speak, that kind of, way of moving and communicating, and that and how difficult it is for that. And so we were talking about, trying to put a network or a programming to allow the open talking about those topics to try to navigate a better way so that you're not so conflicted, right, about identity. So for sure, that is a difference. Yeah, you can't even say, case in point, you say Asian. Asian is made up of cultures that are completely different from each
There's a
other
lot
that you
there.
can't
There's
even.
a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Let me go to the chat here. We've got some great comments. This is one from my 7-year itch. I didn't know that. Vulcan 7-year itches pawn far. Okay, I'll remember that. So
Why
I'm
did I
having a
know Troy was going to say that? I knew Troy was going to say the 7-year Vulcan.
so I'm having a 7-year reverse pawn far. He's also saying, I guess you guys are brothers. Spain and Italy.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities with Spain and Italy.
Maria's calling you out. You've been around.
Let me just say that I mentioned a lot, but I've more of a tendency toward, I would probably say, Latin and Germanic, those two cultures.
Interesting. Maria is pointing out that it doesn't even have to be a color difference. It can be a city girl versus country girl or country boy. So that is, yeah. So dating across differences, if we want to expand it, is that are there challenges unique to that? And the answer is absolutely. I was actually broken up with one time, at least one time, actually twice, that I know specifically, because I was not white. And one was in Toronto, or in Canada when I grew up there. And one was more recently after my divorce. I dated a very powerful man from a blue blood family, and he pursued me quite heavily. And I said, I will date you, but only I'm not moving to misery. No desire. He promised he wouldn't. And in the end, he couldn't keep his promise. And I believe I was led to believe or told from other people that his mother did not approve of me because I was not blue blood. I was yellow. By the way, I am one woman concerted effort to stop calling Asians yellow. Don't like the color, never like the color. We are golden. So
I personally never understood that, to be honest. I don't quite. I mean, I know everything is relative, and white people aren't white either. But yeah,
right. Nobody is white. I had a beautiful person. If you want to hear the best diversity educator I know, she's a little woman who's powerful, powerful. If you haven't watched, it's free on YouTube. It's called A Class Divided, and it's the experiment back in when Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. there was a teacher named Jane Elliott. She's been on Red Table Talk, on Jimmy Fallon, on Jimmy Fallon. And she is just, very, very direct about there are no white people. We're like cream colored, she says. And so go look at the interview that I did with her. I had one. I keep meaning to call her back because she's the best diversity educator I know, although that's not true. There's one other, Caldwell Williams, who you also, if you haven't seen, I think you did come on, PJ, to listen to that interview. And I actually made my third short feature, my first feature film. If you haven't watched that, it's free on YouTube. It's called The Road to Race. And that is also a really good education on diversity, which is not what we're doing, but we're talking about diversity and race because of the topic.
I'm going to throw a question at you that you might not expect, but because we're all, there's a lot of sci-fi people in the chat, and would you date a human being from another planet?
Absolutely. I try everything once. Marriage, divorce. I absolutely love I'm not a big sci-fi person. Sorry, guys. You all know that already. Not because I don't want to, but it's just like I don't have a TV and something's got to give, and I just only have so much time. But I'll have you know that my big brother, Michael Bernard Beckwith, is a huge Trekkie. I didn't know that. And
I didn't know that either.
You didn't know that either. Yeah. No. And I just found that out this last year. And my nephew, Garrett Wang, is his name used to be something different. That's fine. But it was Ensign Kim on the Voyager. So I think this group knows that, but just in case.
Oh yeah, I was part of his little group for a while. We enjoyed it. I couldn't participate for too long, but he was a nice little group there with a shuttle podcast. And the reason I asked though is because there's all this disclosure stuff coming out. You never know who we might run into within 10 years. We might have other human beings here someday.
Well, I think it's extremely egotistical of planet Earth to think that we are in this vast universe the only living being, for sure. So I look forward to exploring all of that.
Marissa's all into it. If you guys are listening, she's open.
I'm open for sure. Okay. They're already here. They live among us.
Most likely.
Absolutely. Klingons have ridges for her pleasure. Okay, he's getting risque here. Okay.
That's right.
PJ's like shaking his head. All right. So that was not the topic, but I will just quickly say that I've had experiences that are extra, for sure. I've been told that I'm audio clairvoyant, and this show that is 916 consecutive weeks on the air was a direct result of a message that I got at 4:30 in the morning, and the voice said radio. And I'm like, radio? I'd been doing some TV, expert commentary. Why would I want to do radio? And the voice said, radio.
Have you ever discussed those experiences?
Yeah, I'm pretty, my life is an open show. So I have talked about it.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah. My first time hearing the voice was 15 years ago. At Agape, before Michael came on stage, very first time, and it tapped me on the shoulder. So I actually felt a tap, and the voice said, "Darling, because I was church shopping. I was looking for a God of my understanding that I didn't have. And so I'd been church shopping, and the voice said, we're totally off topic, by the way. The voice said, darling, you can church shop from now till eternity and have fun with it. But know that I've always been here waiting for you to turn around and dance with me.
Wow.
That was very powerful. And you also don't know that when I told this story on the air to my power panel of Michael Bernard Beckwith, Bishop Carlton Pearson, who is also on the other side with Bob, and Neil Donald Walsh, the New York Times bestselling author of Conversations with God. Neil said to me, you're going to write a book and call it Dance With Me. Now, that was back when I had no clue I was going to write a book. I didn't plan on writing a book. And he was a year ahead of me on the prediction. A year after that year, I did write a book that became a #1 Amazon bestseller and a national bestseller. And I didn't plan to write that book. And again, the reason why I wrote the book is because I lost a $200,000 consulting project and I was not happy. And I stomped my feet. And then I said, I can't wait to see what good comes out of this, which is my discipline. And the voice said, write. And I said, I don't have time to write. And the voice said, you do now. So I wrote for 1 week. And on Sunday night, I finished the first chapter out of Loneliness into Hope and the last chapter out of Control into Happiness. And the following morning, Monday morning, I got an email from Motivational Press in San Diego that said, we follow motivational speakers. Are you writing anything? And I'm like, what? So I sent them the 2 chapters and they sent back a contract the next day. I didn't go with them, but that's how this book happened.
Wow.
Isn't that a crazy story?
That
But
is
that is
crazy.
the
I don't
voice.
remember that.
That is the
I don't think I've
voice.
heard that.
Yeah, I don't think you.
So is that, and I don't mean to be off topic, but now you're talking about that. Do you consider that channeling, or is that something else? Or is that inspiration of some sort?
I don't put a label on it. I know that there's obviously, as Troy said, there's energies, there's entities, there's something all around us already. And if your channel is open to it, you will receive messages or inspiration. This book was written, downloaded in the sense that, it is my experience, and I don't write about happiness, 8 ways to happiness from the perspective of a psychologist telling you how to be happy. It's the story of how I am one of the 7 out of 10 of us who have had childhood trauma still can find happiness, right? But I've had some weird experiences in Sedona with trees walking and stuff like that. So I believe that because I meditate every morning and I take a little plug out of my backside and plug it in during meditation to the power of love and peace, that is the energy that created the world. That's when I get inspired, and I know more than the human mind can fathom, and we all have that ability.
Yeah, you're tapping into something else, right?
Correct. Plugging into is how I say. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow,
So,
that's awesome.
yeah.
That's nice. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. See, we just choose a topic just to be able to jump into whatever we want to talk about. That's the real, you guys have figured that out. All right. So, on dating, so I left it with I was very hurt that my race, my heritage was not good enough for these two men in particular. And it brought me to once again, um, it's not important how other people view me. It's more important how I view myself. And if I can come out of that experience and be very bitter and say, fine, I'm not ever dating a white man again, or you know, that is, oh, white privilege, here we go again. Or discrimination and prejudice as directly affecting me, but I don't. I know that my own experience being proud of the fact that I'm Chinese was a journey. I hated being Chinese. I hated looking different because I grew up in a very homogenous, largest German settlement outside of Germany in Canada called Kitchener-Waterloo. And so it was not a good thing to be Chinese because differences were not seen as positive. They were something to be afraid of, something to avoid, something to criticize. And that's the lesson we're trying to, move in diversity training or diversity, Kool-Aid is, can we see differences not as things to avoid or be afraid of, which our, in 45 does a really great job of getting you to fear differences. That's why we're in a place that we are. We are again afraid of things that don't look like us, which is such a shame because we had done so well in coming to a place where we valued or we're starting to value each other's differences. And now we're back to hating and marching and fearing and bearing arms to shoot anything that is different than us. So
I think there's a lot. Don't you think there's a lot of hype there? Like, I think don't elements in the media like just make up a lot of this division and like if you go in your day-to-day life is not like that, right? I don't think it is.
Well, kind of, PJ, sometimes we live in a bubble. So,
I know the pathologically optimistic thing I said, and
yes.
But I also integrate myself in all different situations, and I really think that it's there. Yes, there is some truth to what you're saying, but I also think that there are elements that want to have us divided, right? For the sake of being divided for whatever reason. And
I agree with that. And at the same time, it is up to us to take responsibility of how easily are you going to be swayed, right? I get a little annoyed when people share stuff that they haven't investigated where that came from. They just blindly see something and then they share it without, and it's like, you guys, this is like a hoax. This is, not real. This is,
you mean sharing on like social media?
Yeah. Like, please investigate. This is I haven't shown this in a while, but I purposely, whenever someone shares something with me, I look at the source and I go, okay, on this chart, where's it coming from? Right? So, of course, certain messages from certain news outlets are going to be anti whatever based on where they are. And speaking of dating, thank you. I can segue back into this. It is important to me when I look, if they say they're Christian conservative, right? I'm not going to swipe right because it's important to me. I'm not saying they're wrong, but their BS, their belief systems are not going to jive with mine. So that's like super important. On race, go ahead.
No, okay. I just wanted to make. I want finish your thought. I don't want you to forget it.
Well, first of all, I'm going to say that we're out of time almost. We're in that last 5 minutes, and I have not done one station ID. I'm going to blame you on that. If you've just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in studio that's almost over, you're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, the station that leaves no listener behind, celebrating 25 years. And today is Thursday, so we are doing some serious straight talk on the show. And my guest co-host today is PJ Tomas, streaming in from orbit, although earlier on he was in Spain. And we're so delighted to have you here. If you're driving, please do not chat. You have 4 minutes or 3 minutes left to put in your 8 cents worth of opinion. The topic was started as dating outside of your race or mixed heritages, but we have covered a plethora of topics this morning because PJ and I haven't talked for a while, and his curiosity is always going to drive the conversation. I get mad at him sometimes in the chat.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
On your relationship, you said before, you said something. You said, I quote unquote, I wasn't good enough for those two people. But I also want you to, take the consideration, the possibility of, it's not so much that you're not good enough for them, it just might be that you're not the right person for them, right?
Oh no, that's where I am now. It's just not a match. But PJ, when you're told by that person that is why they had to break up with you, you can't sugarcoat that. I'm sorry.
I understand.
Yeah, so let's not, I got to put that moose on the table. The good news is, I do think it was a little bit the era of the times. I'm sure people have grandparents who are and will never be anything more than prejudiced because that's all they know. God bless them. They go back into the quantum soup of love and light, and in that place they won't be, because we all come from there and we all go back, but their life experiences led them there. And we can't change that. But I do know now that I also have some prejudices against some races because I've had negative experiences. Now, should I force myself to continue dating cultures that I know are not jiving with my belief system? It's a balance of, we're not asking people to really like things that they don't like. I think we're human beings. We have preferences. We can't love every kind of food. We can't love every kind of race. We are entitled to have preferences. It's when we begin to bash or kill or hurt those differences is when we cross the line. That's my final word on dating outside. So your final word in 30 seconds, because I think we only have 2 minutes left.
I'm going to ask the audience a really quick question. Would you like, anybody in the chat, would you like if Marissa was able to continue some of her interviews after the hour, only on YouTube, even though she's off the radio? So see if you can give her some feedback on that, guys. And thank you for this invite. It's a pleasure to be here with you, my friend.
Oh, that's so sweet. He's been trying to get me to do a membership-based thing, which is what he, So anyways, I'm so glad that you were all able to be part of this show about hope and happiness. And I was equally happy that PJ was able to step in as my guest co-host here this Thursday. I am, I know, okay, PJ, fingers up, that it's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Tomorrow is Alon Carter, tempting conversations with myself and Alon. Hope to see you all back here. Thank you for joining us. And
thank you, Marissa, Frank, thank you both.
Thank you, Sci-Fi Mombi. And yes, you're getting the answer right here. Aw, I'm just
Yes,
really appreciating
memberships
the
and
love.